In a surprise announcement on Sunday, the 47th President of the United States announced that Hollywood productions that filmed outside of the country would see a 100% tariff upon their release within America. Let's talk about the announcement that has Tinseltown turned upside down and how this economic shakeup might affect Marvel's current production, Avengers Doomsday, here on That Park Place.
President Trump has slapped a 100% tariff on foreign-made Hollywood films in an attempt to push to bring the film industry back home. Now, this is a big story that broke, just yesterday. So, in a surprise announcement Sunday night, President Trump revealed a sweeping new policy: 100% tariffs on all movies produced outside the United States. These Hollywood tariffs are part of his broader plan to revive American film production, which he says has been steadily drained by international competition and foreign incentives. So he said, "We want movies made in America today." Now, here's his full post. He goes, "The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States, folks. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concentrated effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing my Department of Commerce, the United States Trade Representative, to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again." So, Vash, this is a big, big deal for Hollywood.
Huge deal. I mean, I can't understate how large this actually is. Unfortunately, I was on the plane when this actually broke out, and then as soon as I landed, I was like, let me just go ahead and scroll through my feed just real fast, just to make sure that nothing big hit the waiver wire. And boy, oh boy, I was not expecting this on a Sunday night. Just absolutely massive, and this is going to upend the industry. It's kind of funny because we were talking about it on the Pro Show last night that there were some articles written about, John Voight has this idea to save Hollywood. Would anyone care? I guess to paraphrase the Deadline headline right there. And, well, they cared. And they care a lot. And Hollywood,
yes, they do.
Not so thrilled about this. But here's the thing. It breaks down into factions because above the line and executives and so forth, they're not happy. But below the line, they're pleased, from what I understand.
So, the new policy caught Hollywood's top studio executives off guard, and many reportedly had no prior knowledge of this initiative, and they're still trying to understand how the tariff will be applied. Now, for years, this is why this is important, major studios have film projects in countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, where governments offer financial perks to attract filmmakers. Now, those incentives, which range from rebates to production grants, often offset a significant portion of a film's budget, but now that might be erased. And what we've seen now, Movie Economics said, pretty sure this puts an immediate block on production of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Disney had budgeted for the UK government paying 25% of its $1 billion cost, and this is more than wiped out by the tariff. So production has to shift to the US, where there is no 25% reimbursement. Now, one of the things that we noticed here is the immediate firestorm across the entertainment industry. Stocks for studios and streamers tumbled on Monday morning as investors reacted to the news. Netflix shares dropped approximately 4%. Warner Bros. Discovery fell more than 3%, and Disney and Paramount each slid over 2%, and even Comcast-owned Universal saw a dip of around 1%. So pretty much an instant reaction to this, Vash, throughout the film industry, just kind of shaking it to its core.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen millions, hundreds of millions of dollars come back to Disney in particular, but others who have filmed in the UK because of their UK incentives. We have seen in Los Angeles alone that their soundstage occupancy, according to Film LA? Is that what the tracking agency is? Yes. We've seen that occupancy actually slump down to around 60%, which is the lowest it's pretty much ever been. So people are not only leaving LA, but they're leaving the country. That is absolutely for sure. So this could be a huge boon for U.S. produced films. But the question, I mean, there are a multitude of questions on what impact this will actually have, whether or not this will actually be retroactive, whether this will be the case going forward. I believe, Marvin, you actually debuted an article on That Park Place as well, talking about how Avengers Doomsday, one of the most expensive movies ever to be made with what, at least 25 plus cast members attached to it, well, that's filming now. And it's like, okay, well, you obviously budget for a certain tax break or tax incentive back, especially when you film in other countries. And now that might be off the table, if not far more expensive than you originally budgeted out for.
Yep. And now this article here is written by the boss, WW Pro, over there on thatparkplace.com. He said the Walt Disney Company may be facing sudden high stakes dilemma whether to pause production on Avengers Doomsday, the highly anticipated Marvel installment currently filming entirely in the United Kingdom. This comes on the heels of course, President Donald Trump's dramatic announcement of that 100% tariff. Now, Hollywood productions currently shooting overseas, according to Culture Crave, include Avengers Doomsday, The Odyssey, Avatar 4, which is Avatar Fire and Ash. Oh no, that's not Fire and Ash. That's the next one after that. I guess they're already filming. And Supergirl. Now Warner Brothers definitely cannot afford to have this happen to them. Like they cannot afford the DC universe to suddenly get slapped with a 100% tariff. Supergirl is definitely going to have to move to the United States if this happens. Now, I will also say, Vash, they have not actually, this has not gone into effect yet, I don't believe.
Yes.
And the White House has kind of been like, well, we're kind of still figuring it out because, it's kind of a ready, fire, aim situation.
Yes, yeah, I think Lou talked about it, how this is how this administration kind of works. They put something out, they basically throw a stick of dynamite in the middle of the room, and then kind of see how the fallout is going to be, which a lot of it has been predicted, and then move thusly. So this definitely took everybody by surprise, obviously, and so that, I mean, we're hearing all kinds of rumors on production, maybe potential delays or something happening to account for this. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't know how this is all going to play out if it does go into effect. Like for Fire and Ash, for example, or Avatar 4, as it's mentioned right here. Does this include post-production as well? Because the bulk of Avatar's costs, not just being filmed in New Zealand, but it's the what is it, the CGI or the post-production that goes into that really adds up in a big way. Does that include that part of the process? Does it include like foreign language distribution? Does it include like the distributors, not only the distributors, which are probably going to be the ones that are going to be hit the most, but also too, does it hit like the theaters themselves? There's still a whole bunch of questions attached to all of this. And but the one fans of this, Marvin, well, we got our clue thanks to Lou, who actually brought this to our attention. Statement by the Teamsters talking about how they are very much in support of this policy. For years, Hollywood studios have hollowed out the industry by following corporate America's crooked playbook of outsourcing good union jobs. Studios chased cheap production costs overseas while gutting the American workforce that built the film and TV industry. These gigantic corporations line their pockets by recklessly cutting corners, abandoning American crews and exploiting tax loopholes abroad. While these companies get rich fleeing to other countries and gaming the system, our members have gotten, well, you can see the verbiage that they use here. This is official Teamsters union release, folks. This is pretty big. The Teamsters applaud any elected official, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, who's willing to fight for American workers. We look forward to continuing to work with the administration to build a trade agenda that benefits our members and workers throughout the American motion picture and TV industry. We thank President Trump for boldly supporting good union jobs when others have turned their heads. So I guess Hollywood is bifurcated in this response here, because below the line, it's like, hey, this is really, really good for us. And I must admit, it is. But above the line, well, they're not so excited about this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is obviously, look, this is the thing that it hurts the studio executives, but it's wonderful for the grips, for the crew members. It's fantastic for them, because as we've been seeing, Hollywood itself, domestic film production has been bleeding out for the last couple of years. Vash, anything else you wanted to add on this subject before we move on?
I would say we are very much looking forward to I believe it was Stephen Paul, it was John Voight's manager, who came up with the bulk of these ideas. We're very interested to see what the details attached to this are. A couple of the questions that I posed before, but I think the biggest one being, like, if films are already in the can and already setting themselves up for release in the United States, will those be included, or is it just production starting from this day forward will be the ones only affected. And also too, I really want to know about post-production. A lot of people are asking about Netflix and streaming series and so forth. I think there was one executive who said, well, that's it for Vancouver kind of thing. So this is there's still a lot to hash out here.
Absolutely. This is one of those situations where you know, he says things and then we kind of have to then figure out how it's going to work, because he likes to make the big headlines. He likes to make a big splash out there. He likes to come out and say, we're doing this big thing. And then we kind of, I don't know if we figure it out later or if it's already figured out later and they're just kind of doing a dramatic rollout. But either way, that is kind of the way it works.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.